What's your story? What's your story? I had to do this video. This video this was one of those intuitive videos. In this video I'm going to talk about how to change your story and make it a story that you're happy with, a story that you're generally happy with, that you love. I was with Jeff before. Jeff is my mentor, and in one of the sessions he brought me into this church, and this is a church in central London, and he said to me, look to the left, Johnny. And when I looked to the left, there's all these homeless guys sleeping, a whole row of homeless people sleeping, snoring, down and outs on the side of the church. And he says to me, you see these guys here, all these kids, these guys. He said, they're in here, Johnny, because they heard the wrong story. They listened to a sub-vocalization, an inner voice, and they believed it, and this is their story. And some of these poor guys are going to be dead soon. They're ill, and obviously the church is doing such a nice thing by letting them sleep in there. And when he said that to me, I thought, I heard it, but because I was concentrating on the session that was about to start, I heard it much deeper. And I'm like that. I don't know if you guys resonate with that. I don't always hear things straight away. It was the same when my dad used to talk to me about stuff years ago that was very profound. I think a lot of it to do is with my old social anxiety. Sometimes I have trouble focusing. It's weird. I can be really focused, and obviously I'm a teacher myself. When I'm teaching, I'm focused, but when I'm receiving a lesson from someone or someone's telling me something, I don't always get it straight away. I hear it logically, but emotionally it doesn't reach me. A few weeks later, I'll go, oh fuck, bloody hell, I understand what that person meant. I'll feel it in my heart, I'll feel it in my body and go, wow, and then I'll really understand it and I'll go further into it. So obviously I was really attracted to Jeff's work because it really resonated with my old story, or my current story at the time, and how he changed his story. And obviously you find one teacher, you become interested in him, he kind of inspires you to look at another teacher, then you go back to what Jeff would say, the main teacher, which is always yourself, because everyone who's helping you and teaching you is bringing you back to yourself. And I thought, it's such a beautiful thing. He says to me, Johnny, we're all storytellers and we can change our story anytime. Most of us, if we're being honest, we're not happy with our story. We're ashamed of our story. We're embarrassed. I hated my story. I hated it with a passion. My story was a man that was angry, was furious, was angry, was bullied by his dad, was terrified and angry and ashamed and embarrassed and jealous and paranoid and violent and sensitive and all these messed up things. And my whole life was a story that I couldn't stand. And the story consisted of so much pain, so much frustration and confusion. And I used to think, this is my life. There's nothing I can do in it. And what was happening was, this story was dictating me. So I wasn't in control of it. I was being controlled. And externally, I was trying to look for a solution, but nothing changed. It got worse. And it made me depressed. My story made me physically sick, to the point where I had diarrhea, to the point where I had anxiety. I couldn't socialize with people. Having a conversation with a person hurt my body. I was so embarrassed, I was so ashamed. I couldn't have eye contact with people unless they had a similar story to me, unless they were violent, angry, and I felt more comfortable. I didn't feel judged. So I couldn't live the life I wanted. I couldn't be the person I wanted to be. I didn't know who I was. I didn't even trust myself to be who I really was. I was confused. I had so many horrific voices going off, and all of these voices were feeding this awful false story. And this story emerged and got created, one of the reasons being because my dad was so abusive towards me when I was younger, and I hated it. I absolutely hated how he treated me, and I hated him at the time, and I felt so awful, so guilty for hating him, because he's my dad. How can you hate your dad? Then I hated myself. Then I hated everyone, and I thought, no, God, please, I don't want to hate people, because I had such a great upbringing, but it was an awful one, so such a contradiction. So it could go two ways. So within that upbringing, there was two stories. One was love my dad, love my mum, like myself, like life. But the flip side, the negative story, the story that I was in most of the time, was I hate everyone, can't trust anyone, you can't trust people, people are dishonest, and they're two-faced, family, friends, women, rich, but everything was against me. Everything. I'm from the wrong background, I don't trust anyone in my area. It was a horrible place to be at. It's an awful place. It was literally a living hell, but on this earth. That's how bad I felt. And the anxiety I went through was just, it's undescribable. It wouldn't even sum it up to talk about it in this video, to use language that we called English language. It wouldn't sum it up. It has to be felt. You'd have to feel how I used to feel. You probably have felt it. That's why you're following my YouTube channel. You resonate with my material. So my whole life, I'm desperate to get out. I used to pray, I used to sit in my flat, and I honestly used to say, please God, if there's a God, please help me, get me out of this mess. I want to die, I don't want to be here. And then every time I'd kind of submit to this type of, I'd feel like a coward. I'd feel like a coward for asking for help. And this is how I would feel, especially from the abuse I underwent from my dad. I would feel dirty and disgusting, and that dirty, disgusting feeling, being around people, made it almost impossible to meet new people, to socialise. I used to think I'm an awful person. I actually used to feel people don't like me. A horrible belief. And then sometimes I'd be like, what? No, it can't be true, man. I'm a nice person. Underneath all this pain, my true self is a nice man. But I just could never be consistent in that place. Or if life was going well, like my dad would be nice to me, there'd be a period we'd be getting on, my mum would be nice, be getting on with friends, I feel great, I feel top of the world, I can socialise with anyone. Then one thing happens to me, one small thing, maybe someone challenges me in a conversation, or someone upsets me in the street or in the shop, anything small, my whole reality shattered. I'm back into that old story. Can't trust anyone, everyone is sneaky. Even when I used to look at people's faces, it sounds mad, they used to look like devils, because I used to think I used to see outside what I'm projecting. They hate me. When people used to stare at me, I walk down the street, I'd think, God, that guy hates me, he stared at me. It was such paranoia. I'd be sitting with my friends and I'd be thinking, I bet they're scheming up on me, I bet they're planning something. It's just awful, man. All this because of, undergoing abuse when I was younger, and not just undergoing abuse, projecting anger and attracting anger in school around my area, and always feeling confident in the sense that my last resort is my hands. I'm good at these, I'm trained, my dad trained me at these, and I'd have so many fights, and it never made me feel better. It just the cycle continued again. And then as I got older, it's interesting because some of the things passed. So the thing with the abuse from my dad, I found a way to bury it. So I buried it up in the past, didn't talk about it, I didn't tell anyone, never told my friends. My old friends wouldn't know about it unless they watch this video now, they wouldn't have known. Didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to feel like I was betraying my dad, didn't want to feel like I was being disloyal because I really loved him, but I just hated the way he treated me at that particular time because he was a different person. This is going back 20 years, but still carrying the emotional trauma of what that does to you, how that psychologically ruins your relationship with yourself, and it makes it so difficult to open up with people. It's so hard. Even intellectually, if you say, okay, I'm going to meet this person today, or I'm going to go to this social event, and I'm going to be open, you can say that, you can think that, but biologically, when you get there, the anxiety, your chest gets tight, you can't speak, you can't open up, something don't let you do it. It felt like there was I wrote about this, felt like there's a demon stopping me. And then you believe this story, you believe it on every level. You say, I'm not good enough to make money. I'm not good enough to be loved by a woman, or at least a woman who's attractive, you know, in terms of my own, in terms of, you know, what I want from a woman, in terms of what I think. Just a nightmare, and then being by yourself and having these horrible thoughts going off, and can't even sit down and rest, always anxious, can't read a book, watching films, can't concentrate, gotta get snacks, gotta eat. And you know, that's why I did some really awful things in this story, sleeping with prostitutes, feeling disgusted and ashamed, like, why am I doing this? I don't need to do this. But you can't help it, just wanted to get away from your pain, and then doing it and thinking, oh, I don't want to look at myself in the mirror. Sleeping with prostitutes, being violent, talking bad about people, being racist towards everyone. You just hate everyone. When you fall into this place, there's no one. You feel no one loves you. You're finished. You're gone. You're dead. You're a dead man on the earth. And then just a dark place, and there's nowhere to turn, because you think, if I tell people, they're going to judge me. If I don't tell anyone about it, I'm never really going to make any friends. I'm never going to get these feelings out and be able to release these feelings, because voices keep coming up saying, if you used to tell someone, you'd be abandoned, you'd be rejected, they would feel sorry for you, they would never respect you. Once you tell them that, even if they pretend that they care about you, they're going to use it against you. An ongoing cycle of problems and not being able to get out of this hell. And this hell is in the mind. And of course, the mind creates the reality. It projects outside. So we see, like Alan Watts says, everything we see outside is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. And then being around people who've got very similar stories, it's difficult to break out when your story is being confirmed by the people you're hanging around. Part of you feels better, because at least you can say, oh, well, I'm not the only one who's in this place. He's in this place, he's in this place, she's in this place, they're in this place. So I guess I don't feel as bad, but that's not doing you any good, because that's keeping you in this story. So seeing those guys in the church, just feeling huge compassion for them, thinking, God, like, I was close to that. I could have been so closely homeless, you know, drug addict, and dead. It wouldn't have been a surprise. I nearly went to prison for selling drugs, getting caught for drugs. Could have went to prison, knocked out so many people. Surprised I didn't kill anyone, thank God, thank the Lord. Could have got killed myself. Was robbed many times, just in this place of negativity everywhere, trouble everywhere I went, always getting into arguments, people always picking on me, always starting at me. I just didn't trust people, always felt like people trying to bully me. That's why so much social fear, always preparing for a fight, always preparing for an argument, going into the shop thinking, I'm going to buy this, shopkeeper's going to start on me, irrational thoughts. And I've done a lot of studying on this psychology. This happens when you get abused. It changes your psychology, your worldview. Obviously other people, they don't know what you've been through, so in your mind you're thinking, you're kind of almost expecting people to be a little bit more sympathetic towards you, but of course they're not, 'cause they don't know that you've been through this. They've got no idea. They've probably got their own problems. So it's kind of this weird, it's just a very confusing, disturbing, paranoid, irrational mind, and you kind of feel, this mind ain't mine, it's not me, but it's been planted on me, and that's what it is. It's a virus. And so then I thought to myself, when Jeff had said that, I thought, wow, that's what I did. Even prior to coming to see Jeff, I'd actually had the courage to change my story, and that took immense amount of courage. That is an army's worth of courage to do that, because that means facing all your fears and looking at yourself in the mirror, at everything that you've done that you're ashamed of, and everything that you've regretted, but also taking responsibility in really being yourself, not fucking around with it, really being your best self, really going for the things that you want in your life. And that really excites me. That's why I did this video. I didn't do this video to depress everyone and for any sort of sympathy. I'm doing it because I'm in a good place now. I'm confident enough, and I've got the self-esteem, and I've lightened my whole perception of what people think about me. I feel really good about myself. So of course, like everyone, I don't like being judged, but I don't really care if people judge me. I'm just too happy, too in a good place, and I want to talk to other men like myself that have been through this social anxiety, that have been through some kind of abuse from their dad or their mum, or anyone in school, anyone who's suffering. Because there's so many people out there suffering who don't know how to change their story and believe that their story is who they are. But the mad thing, what Jeff said, is we are the story makers. So what happened to me in the past is not my story today. And it's interesting because now I've changed my story. It makes you more appreciative to your previous story, which was when you change your story to a story that you're happy with, it makes it easier to look back at the things that were making you ashamed and bothering you, and to get some peace with it. So obviously forgiving my dad for behaving that way, it's like you forgive that story, that old person. You've dissolved that person. You've got your new identity because you've created a new story. You've changed the way you think. You've changed your personality. Or you've revealed, rather. I was saying this to a guy I was working with on my 6-week program yesterday, last session. He said, he's changed, I'm more confident, Johnny. I said, yeah, we've both changed. You've changed, but you didn't really change. You revealed who you are. You broke off the mask, you got rid of all the rubbish that was in the way. You did that by strengthening your integrity. So anyone can do this. Anyone can change their story. Everyone can change their story. But what are most people doing? Most people are not changing their story. They're feeding their story that they're not happy with. So effectively, if you're not happy with your story, that means you don't like yourself. That means there's going to be huge elements of self-hate. There's going to be elements of denial, dishonesty, dishonest to yourself. And of course, that will always be a projection on other people and life. So I think what happens is, I think deep down everyone knows that they can change the story. But it's always fear. Again, like Jeff said, it's always the battle with your own fears. Because people know that it's not comfortable initially. Changing my story, it demanded every single bit of strength from me. It's painful. It's painful. Unfortunately, there's so much stuff online that talks about transformations and becoming your best version, and it's great advice, but a lot of it doesn't tell the truth. It doesn't tell the truth in the sense of what you have to go through and how difficult and painful psychologically. But I'm not trying to put people off of that, because you have to go through that. You have to go through it. All the great leaders in history, all the great men or great women, or anyone, any person in history, in any field, sports, dictators, politicians, writers, poets, philosophers, filmmakers, had to go through hell to get to what he got to. We just see success and think, success, wow, he did it. He's got money, he's attractive, he's famous. We don't see what he had to go through. I can tell you now, because you're talking to a man who's gone through it. I had every bit of strength, many failures, so much pain, so much crying, so much depression, so much anxiety, panic attacks. Worth it to get the peace. It's worth it. Then you can make sense of all the things that seem crazy, like, why did this person do this to me? Oh, that's why they did it. Why did I behave like that? Okay, that makes sense. You start putting things together, and it becomes, there is almost like, when police have a case and they say the case is closed, they've finished it, they've completed it, they get a detective and he goes out looking. You become your own detective. You go inside and then you go outside. You're trying to find out, where did it go wrong? How can I fix myself? You're mending yourself. So you get a mentor, you read books, or you hear about other people's story, you learn bits and pieces. Maybe you go wrong, like I did a bit with the pickup stuff. You come away, you go this way. So you start piecing things together. You're basically healing yourself. And through the healing process, you're becoming successful. And going from where I went from living on the council estate, being poor and job seekers allowance, to now being successful, running my own online business, coaching business, doing what I love, that was healing for me. That was healing. And then the effects of you healing are more self-confidence received, the kingdom within, self-love, proper wholesome relationships with yourself and other people, feeling better, dressing better, eating better, talking better, getting better control over your inner monologue, continuously upgrading your story into a story that you want to create. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. It's all worth it. Because I used to sit at home and think to myself, I hope you guys don't mind me being so open, because I worry sometimes when I talk in such honest terms that it's just going to upset people. I don't want to do that. But I sit at home and just think, I can't take this no more. I want to be dead. I've had enough. I'm going to just kill myself. And then I'd get another voice saying, you little pussy, look at you feeling sorry for yourself. What a mummy's boy you are. And then I'd be like, I'm not going to do it then. And then I'm back to square one. So these voices used to keep trying to get me. And the interesting thing is, don't think that I don't still get these voices. I'm not suicidal anymore. Don't worry, I'm in a good place. But don't think because I'm successful, you see me on YouTube, you see me happy, which I am, you see me doing amazing things, you see me talking about things normal, that I don't get the voices. As a matter of fact, I get the voices twice as strong. But the difference is, I know how to hear the voices, but not identify with them. Where in the old days, I'm hearing the voices, I'm identifying with them, and I become that. So jealousy or anger or doubt, or the whole common one, you're not good enough, you're not going to be respected, you're never going to make nothing, a woman's never going to love you, people are not going to love you, you'll never make money, everything will be taken away from you, going to threaten me with death, going to threaten me with illness. It just never ended. I didn't know how to disassociate with those voices. Now the voices come up and I know how to not identify with them. Why do you think I'm doing this video? I'm doing this video because I've been having such a good time, but a voice came up when I was sitting in my room. A voice came up and said, you fucking hypocrite. You hypocrite. Look at you going out and teaching all these men to be confident. Look what you did. Look what you're... And I said, okay, well, I'm not a hypocrite because I've put everything out online. I've told people everything that I did that was bad, everything I was ashamed of, how I used to feel, things I did wrong, but I put it right. These voices are not me. This is me speaking. I'm using a voice now, but this voice is coming from honesty. This voice is coming from love. This voice is me. This voice is vulnerability. This voice is honesty. Look at my eyes. You can tell when someone's being honest. So I don't listen to these voices. And I learn how to get motivated from these voices. So I listen to these voices, but I don't let these voices dictate me. I dictate these voices. So that's how I create a new story. So most people think they're going to be successful, it's going to be all rosy, and they're going to do it without no trauma, no stress, no doubt, no negative thoughts. No, sorry. We're in a human condition. We're human beings. This is what used to really annoy me, and I'm not sounding all bitter, but not enough teachers were telling the truth. Like they are telling the truth that they're successful. Yes, we know that. We can see that in their lifestyle and their big smile and their white teeth and their houses and all that. But they don't tell their followers or their students, man, I had to fucking suffer to get here. And I still sometimes get voices coming up saying I'm not good enough, or I feel a bit insecure, I'm a bit frightened that everyone won't love me. Why don't people tell the truth? That's what I used to always ask myself. This is the good voice. That's why I tell the guys I work with. And this is mad because I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I'm getting more passionate. Every time I pray to God, it always says to me, tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. Tell them about your struggles. Tell them that you cry sometimes. Tell them how much courage that you got from the dark places. Tell the people the truth. Because people don't speak the truth enough. Everyone's afraid of losing reputation. Or let me just tell them the good bits and hold this bit back. Tell them everything. Tell them everything. That's why I'm passionate. That's why I'm a good teacher, because I am honest. So you can change your story, because I did it. And I help other people to do it every week. If you really want to change your story, you can do it. And I used to say to myself, because I get the voices coming up saying to me, you can't go to that event, Johnny. I would say, why not? Why can't I go and meet these people? Because they're going to see that you're socially anxious and not going to want to hang around with you. And they're going to take the piss out of you, and then you're going to lose your temper, and you're going to hit someone, and everyone's going to hate you. I can't, and then I'd believe it, okay, I'm not gonna go. And I sit at home eating crap food, sometimes I'd go out to the cash machine, go see prostitutes. That was not who I was. That's not who my mum and dad raised me to be. God didn't bring me into the world to do this stuff. That was because I didn't have self-control over my negative thoughts. The social conditioning, some of it was cultural conditioning from the abuse, because abuse manifests onto bad psychology, bad thoughts, demonic thoughts, divided thoughts. I thought, I've had enough of this. This is not the person I am. No way am I going to let this beat me. I'm getting out of this depression. I said, no way am I letting these voices beat me. No way am I having it. The way I seen it was, I got nothing to lose. I've got social anxiety. I'm embarrassed. I'm scared. I don't have any money. I can't trust anyone. I'm not even sure if I can trust my own family, and that saddens me. It's broken my heart because I love my mum and my dad and all my family, but because I've got so much distrust with myself, I can't trust other people. I can't talk to anyone, because if I talk to someone, I feel like I'm losing all my masculinity. I'm letting myself down, I'm letting my dad down, I'm letting mankind down, I'm letting people down from the working class background. It just never ended. So I got to a stage where enough is enough. And there's many events, I've talked about this before. I heard Les Brown's voice and I was crying. I felt like I heard God for him. I don't even know who Les Brown was that well. A friend had mentioned him, had his book. I thought, okay, let me hear this guy, what he's got to say. And I was crying because Les Brown said a very transformative line. And it's something along the lines that he said that he didn't think he was good enough. He thought he's not good enough because he was born with some disability. I can't pronounce the word properly, excuse me. Eligibly mentally retarded, something like that. And I resonated with that because in school I had learning difficulties, not because I was not intelligent, because I was afraid and I was anxious and I had social phobia and all the abuse and bullying. I couldn't study or perform in front of people. So when I heard this man say this, and I knew this is what I like about Les Brown. Remember I was saying earlier, he told the truth. He didn't just talk about the great bits, the success, that he made 6 figures or millions and he bought houses in LA. He talked about his utmost pain. That's what spoke to me. That's what made me think I can do it as well. I'm not even looking to do it on a big scale like he's doing. I just want to become normal and have friends and have a job. I didn't even have a job at the time. And feel safe around people, like they're not going to try and kill me. I haven't got to kill them because they're going to try and kill me. I don't want to kill anyone. I want people to kill me. I want a nice man who wants to get on with the world and find love like we all do, and love myself and love my family and have friends. So when I heard him say, his teacher said, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality, something like that. And I was crying. I was flooded with tears. But it was weird. It wasn't like crying, feeling sorry for myself. I just felt passion. I thought, and I heard it, he said these words, he says, and it was like the rhythm of how he said it. He said, it's possible you can live your dream. And I felt my whole body went cold. I thought, where's this coming from? Because I didn't believe in all that stuff back then. I didn't believe in God. Even though I played around with it, but I always felt sorry for myself. I was angry at the world. And I just thought, wow, what is this? I was cold, all over my body was cold. I was buzzed up. I didn't even know what it was. With inspiration, I got a rush. I thought, I can do it. I didn't even know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no idea at 25. I wanted to be a boxer, but I kind of thought that's unrealistic. At 25, I'm too old. I've not even had a professional fight, but I'm passionate. I know it. I knew this is not who I am. I'm sorry to be so graphic. All right, my friend. So I knew that wasn't the case. I knew it. I knew I wasn't acting from my true self. The self that was vulnerable and lovely with his mum, and sometimes my dad, and with my good friends. I just had to have the confidence to be consistent in that personality, and then have the confidence to create a story that I wanted to create. And now I've done that. So I wasn't going mad when I had that epiphany at 25, because if I'd have shared that with someone back then, everyone would have laughed at me. And as a matter of fact, a couple of close friends did laugh at me, and I'm not even mad at them. I'm not mad at them, because I understand, because I didn't believe in me either. And that's people for you. When you're not famous, when you're not successful, no one takes you serious. When you become successful, everyone wants to be your friend. Everyone wants to kiss your ass. That's okay too. That's alright too. I made a lot of mistakes. I'm not judging on them, but I knew it. I knew it. It spoke to me, the voice. I felt it in my heart. I was crying. I don't cry easily. I don't cry for nothing. I was sobbing, I was crying, and I just thought, this man is... I thought one day I hope to meet him and thank him. But I'm thanking him by doing this video. And he spoke to me, that man. And prior to hearing Les Brown, I'd met Floyd a few years before that, and he helped me with women. But I wanted to be good in my life. I wanted to have money in my pocket. I want to be able to feel secure in all areas in myself. I didn't want to have to be under the dominion of fear or someone else dictating to me. I didn't want to feel helpless no more. I didn't want to be a fucking victim. I didn't want to be a dishonest person that doesn't have integrity. I didn't want to have a bad relationship with my mum and dad because of my own insecurities, or I felt I was hard done by. I didn't want to live in sympathy and pity. I didn't need that type of energy in my life. I knew I was a strong man. I just had to overcome myself. Not my dad, not the guy who bullied me at school, or some girl around my area that laughed at me and another guy had fought me. All these little stories and little bumps and bruises along the way. And that's why I developed a new story, not despite those things, because of what I went through. I had no choice. Like Frank Sinatra said, the best revenge is massive success. I had to get massive success. I wasn't settling for the 9 to 5, £300 a week, and then panicking, you can't pay the rent, you can't go on holiday. I'd seen that life growing up. That's not to be arrogant, but I wanted better than that. And Les Brown told me I could do it, and I knew I could do it. And so did Floyd with women, and I got better with women. Then I thought to myself, nothing I can't achieve. But it always involves me facing my fear and not listening to the... So like I was saying, just to round this video up, I know it's a long video, guys. I really can't make these videos 2 minutes or 5 minutes long. I wouldn't be able to explain the whole concept. I don't have that sort of speaking style. I'm not as skilled as other YouTubers that can say stuff in 5 minutes. I can't articulate that way. I have to take my time. That's how my brain works. It takes me long to register the process to come out. So you can change your story anytime you want. And I'm just going to share a couple of things at the end that you can go and practice that I've done and I teach. First one is, just try and get this right, because it's so much, it's very difficult to explain it on one YouTube video. It's a lifetime's worth of work packed into what I would teach over 6 weeks. First thing is, you have to want to do it. You have to really want to do it. You can't be half-assed about it or just say, I kind of want to do it 50%. You need to be 100% committed. You have to admit it. You have to admit that even though it's wrong what someone's done to you, your dad, someone's abused you, or life, you've got to take responsibility, because all change starts with personal responsibility and dedicating yourself to challenging your fears, facing your fears. What's the next one? I say a mentor. You need a mentor, whether that's a free mentor, a paid mentor, someone on YouTube. You've got me as a mentor anyway, or if you need someone else, friend, counselling, you need help. You can't do it all by yourself. Lots of people like to believe they can do it by themselves, but the reality is you can't. I didn't do it by myself. I did a lot by myself. I got help. So the mentor should inspire you to go and take more action, some support. Another one is you have to live honest, because if you're in a story that you don't like, you're dishonest. It's no doubt about it. I see this pattern. I work with hundreds of people. I was the same. If you're not happy, it's because integrity's out somewhere. Cheating, lying, stealing. You probably would say now, I don't cheat, I don't lie. If you really think about it, you are doing that because you wouldn't be in a bad place. Got to come to the truth. I use the word God. I'm not trying to convert you. I'm just saying I like using the word God. Let's just say God is a concept for living a life of honesty, integrity and love. If you want to go the God way in your own cultural God, that's brilliant. Any God, because it's always about integrity, isn't it, and living honestly. And most people struggle with that who don't like their story. Another concept I'd like to share with you is you've got to get around people who are honest, who've got integrity, who are going to love you, support you, and you've got to build proper relationships. But this can never be done without building a relationship with yourself. So you have to work on yourself. You have to work on cutting out your addictions. If you're going to see prostitutes, stop. If you're watching pornography, stop. If you're talking about your friends behind their back, stop doing it. If you're being angry, if you're bullying people, anything like that, you have to stop it, because it's affecting a relationship with you. What else is there? You need to be fucking brave. You need to have a lot of courage. You need to be consistent. You need to practice, you know, the right behaviours to change your story. I don't just mean practices in talking to people, which is important, how you talk to yourself. What else is there? You just got to work hard. You got to believe. You got to have faith. Believe in God. Believe in yourself. And you got to follow this. You got to follow your heart. You got to follow what's in your heart and what you feel but you're afraid to. You gradually got to do it. You don't have to do it in one day. You do it over a period of time. Never quit. Never let no one tell you can't do it, because I've done it. I've become successful. Everyone said I couldn't do it. I've done it. I help people every week to do it, to change the story, and I'm still changing my story now. Still touching that bits up. And YouTube is a part of my story, from the old to the new, and maybe the newer one, a better one. Keep improving. I love you guys. Enjoy the process. I really hope that helps you.